All right, let's just dive right into this explainer and unlock the absolute magic of IP addresses. And yes, it really is a kind of modern magic that connects, well, absolutely everything around us. Whether we realize it or not, we're constantly surrounded by devices talking to each other. So today, we're going to decode exactly how that works by looking at the foundational language of the entire internet.
So here's our quick roadmap for today. First up, the magic of IPs. Then we'll meet Mr. Subnet Mask, explore the neighborhood analogy, figure out escaping your network, and finally, we'll uncover the usable IP cache.
Starting off with Section 1, the magic of IPs, and how devices actually communicate.
Okay, before we get bogged down in any complex math, we've got to ask a ridiculously basic question. How does your smart toilet send a diagnostic message to your Apple Watch? I know, it sounds like a joke, but really think about it. How does your oven talk to your phone? They legitimately need a way to find each other in the digital void and send messages back and forth without getting their wires crossed.
And that brings us to our core definition. An IP, or Internet Protocol address, is exactly like a phone number, but, for your devices. Just like you'd punch in a specific set of digits to text a friend, your devices use IP addresses to open up lines of communication. Without these unique numeric identifiers, your gadgets are literally isolated. They can't talk to each other, and they for sure cannot connect to the wider internet.
Now, this isn't just some invisible magic happening in the background. You can actually see it right now. If you want to find the IP address of the device you're currently using, it's surprisingly simple. On a Windows machine, just open the command prompt and type ipconfig. For Mac or Linux, open the terminal, type ifconfig. And if you're on your phone, just dive deep into your Wi-Fi settings. You're going to see a string of numbers separated by dots. That right there is your device's unique digital phone number.
Moving right along to Section 2. Meet Mr. Subnet Mask and the 255 hack. See, your IP address doesn't work alone. It actually has a weird but absolutely essential best friend. When you look at your network settings, you'll see a subnet mask sitting right next to your IP address. It almost always has the number 255 in it. The golden rule here is this: wherever you see a 255 in a section, or what we in the biz call an octet, that corresponding number in your IP address is permanently locked in for your local network. Boom, it will never change.
To see this in action, check out how a subnet mask of 255.255.255.0 acts like a digital padlock. Those first three 255s, they lock in the first three numbers of your IP address. So if your IP starts with 192.168.1, every single device in your house is also going to start with 192.168.1. But look at that 0 at the very end. That 0 tells us the final number is completely unlocked. It can literally be whatever we want it to be.
In the IT world, we actually have specific names for these two halves. We call the locked-in part the network portion, and the changeable unlocked part at the end, we call that the host portion. We call it that because every single device on your network, your phone, your laptop, your smart TV, is considered a host, and each one gets its own unique number for that final slot.
Which brings us to Section 3, the neighborhood analogy, streets and houses.
If the terms network portion and host portion feel a little dry, let's map this onto a physical neighborhood. Think of the locked-in network portion as your street name. Let's say you live on Private Drive. Everyone in your neighborhood shares that exact same street name. That is your 192.168.1. But to get mail delivered to your specific door, you need a house number, like 4, 5, or 6. That unique house number, that's your host portion.
So why does this matter? Well, because devices on the same street can directly hand off data to one another. If you want to send a file from your laptop to your laptop checks the IP address, realizes they both live on the 192.168.1 street, and effectively just walks outside and hands the data directly to its neighbor. It is incredibly fast and efficient local communication.
All right, Section 4, escaping your network, calling UPS.
But what happens when you want to talk to a device that does not live on your street? Say you're streaming a movie from Netflix. Your device follows a very logical three-step process. First, it checks Mr. Subnet Mask to see what street it lives on. Second, it looks at Netflix's IP address and realizes, uh-oh, this isn't on my street. This is way over on Bleecker Street in New York. Because it can't just walk the data over, it moves to step 3. It calls in outside delivery help. In the physical world, you'd call UPS. In the digital world, your device calls the default gateway.
Think of your router as the Oprah Winfrey of your network. Through something called DHCP, it points at your devices and basically says, you get an IP and you get an IP. But more importantly, she knows exactly how to navigate the outside world. When your laptop needs to reach Netflix, it hands the request to Oprah, your default gateway, and she routes your data safely out across the wider internet.
And that leads us to our final part, Section 5, the usable IP cache, networking taxes and fees.
Let's put this all together into a practical challenge to see exactly how many devices we can cram into our digital neighborhood. If we look at that standard network we've been talking about, where the first 3 numbers are locked in and the last number can be absolutely anything from 0 all the way up to 255, how many possible IP addresses do you have available to hand out to your devices?
Well, if you count from 1 to 255, that's 255. Plus the number 0 itself, basic math tells us we have a grand total of 256 possible IP addresses in this block. That sounds like a massive party, right? Plenty of room for all your smart devices.
Actually, scratch that. You'd be wrong. Because in networking, just like in real life, there is always a catch. There are hidden taxes and extra fees you gotta pay. You don't actually get to use all 256 of those addresses.
You see, you are always forced to give up 3 distinct IP addresses in any standard network. First, you lose the very first IP, ending in .0. That is the network address, the untouchable leader that defines the street itself. Second, you lose the very last IP, ending in .255. That's the broadcast address. Think of it as the chatty Cathy of the network. If you send a message to that IP, it screams it out to every single device simultaneously. And finally, you have to give up one IP address for Oprah, your default gateway. Your router itself needs an address to exist on the network.
So, if we take our 256 total addresses, subtract the untouchable leader, the chatty Cathy broadcast address, and the router itself, we arrive at the true mathematical answer. You have exactly 253 usable IP addresses left to hand out to your laptops, your phones, your smart bulbs, and yes, even your smart toilets.
So the underlying magic of IP addresses, the locking power of the subnet mask, and the absolutely vital role of the router, it all finally makes sense, right? But remember, this is just one single, simple street. What happens when an organization needs thousands of addresses across dozens of connected neighborhoods? Now that you understand the hidden rules, how are you going to map out